When we encounter sharps and flats in actual music, we'll find that there are a few conventions that we have for using sharps and flats that are a little bit quirky and may require some explanation. So let's take a look at this little melody we've got right here. So here's a short melody, 2 measures long in 4/4 time, and you'll notice the very first note has a sharp symbol in front of it. So here we have, in the very, very first note, we have a note head on the F space, and then there's a sharp symbol in front of it, and that means we're going to raise the F to an F sharp, to that black key above the F. So you would think that is the last time that we're going to play an altered note in this passage, right? The first note is F sharp, then we go to an A, then we have an F right here, then we have a G, and then a D, then an F, then an E, then a D. But there's one sort of convention that we use when we use sharps or flats within a measure. And that is that once we activate a sharp or flat, that sharp or flat is going to remain for the rest of the measure. Meaning, if I set this first note here, as I do, to an F sharp, that means that sharp symbol is going to be active for the rest of that measure, right up until I get to this bar line here. So that means that not only is this F sharp F going to be sharp, but this F right here is also going to be F sharp. Even though there's no sharp symbol directly in front of it, just by convention, we say that sharp symbol continues on throughout the measure. But once we hit this bar line right here, then everything gets reset. There are no sharps or flats. So this is going to be an F natural, meaning an F without a sharp or flat. And it's just going to be a plain old F. So we have F sharp, A, F sharp, D, F, E, D. That's something that's sometimes a little bit tricky to remember, especially when we're first starting out. But suppose I wanted to make that second F in the first measure. Suppose I wanted that to be actually not an F sharp, but just a plain old F. Well, in that case, we actually have another symbol for that. We call that a natural sign. I actually just used that word a second ago, and I'll tell you what that means. The natural sign, or natural symbol, looks like this. And we use it in the same way that we use a sharp or a flat symbol. We just put it to the left of the note head. And what the natural symbol means is deactivate any sharps or flats that may be active on that particular note. So if I put that natural symbol in front of the F, that means that what was an F sharp is now just going to go back to being a plain old F, or what we call in musical terms an F natural. So F sharp, A, F natural, E, D. Notice, by the way, if I put a natural sign in front of, say, this A, a note that does not have any sharps or flats on it, it has no effect. I can do it, but it doesn't actually change anything. It was an A, the white key above middle C, the A above middle C. If I put the natural sign in front of it, it still remains an A. That natural sign will only have an effect if a particular note has been altered in some way. That just says turn off any alterations, turn off any sharps or flats on that key and return it to just what it was. The sharps and the flats and the naturals, or any note that's sharp or flat or natural, collectively we call these symbols the accidentals. And usually we refer to any notes that are affected by the symbols as accidentals. So we would call In this example, we would call this first F sharp. We would call that an accidental, and we would actually call this F natural an accidental because we've altered the configuration of the note with a sharp or a flat or a natural.